Okay, so this is a Scrim VOD of 4K-ish team. I assume this is an open division team. So this team is Titans Wrath versus 4K team. So they we don't know what the other team is called. But anyway, first thing I want to point out is that they sent me a whole Scrim block, but I just kind of want everyone to have a chance. So I'm not gonna review literally like 4 or 5 maps in a row for just one team or one person. I want other people to have a chance, since this is based off my Reddit thread on r/Overwatch University, where I just said I want to do some bot reviews. So I'll just go through this map, and it's because they played the version of GOATs that is kind of closest to, well, not closest, but one of it's a team comp that I basically will want them to run in the future, almost, but not quite. So let's start.
For the Sombra Scout.
Actually, let me start what I meant by that. So first off, this team kind of runs like 5 different versions of GOATs, and that is not really productive for practice. You just want to run the same version of GOATs pretty much nearly all the time. This allows you to just practice that one comp until it's really polished. So right now you guys don't really know what you guys want to run, and that's of course not very good. So I'll point out what I want you guys to practice.
They might run quad. Clear here. If the options are basically dive or goats.
Your options right now, you are planning whether you want to run 4 DPS or, and I watched this a little bit in advance. Whether you want to run 4 DPS or thanks. I like this guy.
Only good against, like,
let me soft reduce it. So I want it to be, I want this video to be, the sound to be soft. So they're planning right now whether they want to run 4 DPS or they're just going to run goats. So personally, I'll suggest you guys just practice goats and make it so that for this scrim block, you just say to yourself that in this scrim block, our goal is to practice our goats, and that is your goal. So win or lose doesn't matter as long as you just get to play goats. So you'll pretty much just play the same variation of goats and just play it for the whole scrim block. So if, let's say, another scrim block, your purpose is to experiment, you want to experiment with many different team comps, and so you just literally go and in that scrim block you of course play whatever you feel like playing and experiment around. So make sure you have each scrim block, you set a goal for that scrim block and try to accomplish it. So I don't know what the goal of this scrim block is. I heavily suspect it doesn't have a goal, which is why they are just they're doing kind of what they usually do. So I think this is supposed to be for practice, yet also experiment, because they don't know what they want to do. So I want you guys to run. I keep saying that, but they are gonna scout first and they're gonna figure it out. All right, let's skip ahead to when the game starts. Your Sombra goes up to scout. You guys will mention that he doesn't leave his translocator in. Okay, so oops, let me back like this. Okay, so in this scenario, this team comp is actually quite good, but I would like this diva to be a Zarya instead. So most of the time when you guys want to switch something out within goats, usually it's the diva, the flex player, although generally flex players have been playing one hero for the past like 3 years. Excuse me. So I would like this slot to be a Zarya instead, and the reason is that the Zarya is a really huge source of damage within the goats comp. So right now your damage is actually horribly low, and you do not have a high impact, pretty much game winning ult in the form of an actual, just a literal Zarya. So right now your damage pressure is very little, and even though you guys are very mobile, barring your Zen and barring your break, you guys don't do very much damage. So right now your win condition of rush into them and then may perhaps dive their backline isn't very strong because you guys don't exactly have protection for your Winston as well, because you guys want to bubble him as he goes in. And I guess just for the benefit of your main tank, the way just imagine that this is a black screen right now. So the Winston will jump in. Let's say this Winston, and he is here. You want to use your Xayah bubble first, and when the bubble is about to expire, then your Winston uses his actual bubble. So this allows him the one you guys don't overlap the cooldown, and of course your Xayah just gets energy, and the Winston should be able to within this time hopefully get his cooldown back, or have the ability to just back off if the engage doesn't go too well, if you guys don't see the chance to commit. But mainly lacking the Xayah is really lacking a lot of damage and lacking a lot of protection for your Winston. So you break instantly gets evaporated. And I like that you guys are running running the Zen now. Previously they were running hopefully you can see this thing. You can see the tiny little Moira portrait right there. So they were previously running Moira God. So if you guys want to run Hammond all the time, because you have a very comfortable Hammond player, I suggest you guys stick to this variation of Ghost that I just laid out. But you must always have the Xayah, and always have the Zen nowadays. Playing Moira Goat is kind of like playing Mercy instead of Ana because you think Ana is too hard. That's kind of what it is. Kind of the equivalent of that. So anyway, I was completely not talking about your play at all in that entire time. So your goal right now should be to discard the Reinhardt, discard the Xayah. That's very good too. Discard the Reinhardt, and I like that you seem to have a discord on like scroll wheel or something, because you're rolling through the discords really fast. That was a good target call by whoever was calling. I'm not sure if it's you, but I assume you're using Discord, so I'm not sure if it's you. Those good Discords and good spam. Oh, your Winston has to use bubble really early. Rolling up here is perfectly fine, and you're actually really safe to be pushed further up into cover. Alright, hide from the high noon. You can kind of a slight optimization is that as long as you kind of know where he is, and I kind of know that he's around here, you can LOS him while continuing to provide value by just continuing left clicking, so you don't have to be playing so afraid for these few seconds. You charge up a right click though, so that's fine. It's just that's a very tiny micro thing. Oh, let me just go through how your team died. So your Lucio dies inside the bubble. Alright, that is unfortunate. So your team splits up right there. So Lucio dead, Winston. Your 3 tanks are there without any support whatsoever, and you don't have any orbs out on anybody. So they are not really going to get any kills. One, because like I said before, you guys don't have a Xayah to provide really really high damage, and 2, you don't have Discord up. So those are kind of the 2 reasons. Now you have trance though. Oh, there we go. I didn't watch this far. He says he wanted on Xayah. Alright. I think the Wrecking Ball is actually, it's okay, but this is definitely better than what you guys had before. For sure you need a Zarya. If you want to switch the D.Va for anything, you know, it should be, I mean it should be the D.Va switching to anything you want. It should be the D.Va switching to, alright, I guess I'll just say it now. Other teams will switch the D.Va for, you know, a Sombra that has happened in Korea. They switch the D.Va for Mei in Snoats. They switch the D.Va for, what's the other thing? For McCree. Sometimes, you know, if you feel like it. But basically the D.Va would be the one to flex. Excuse me. Alright, so one thing I want to see is what happened to your bubble, to your Zarya bubble. You discarding, you spamming, very nice. Keep spamming, keep spamming. Trying to gain your. Is that a bubble on your Winston, or is that a bubble on your Zarya? I actually have no idea. Does he get bubble? No, he gets stunned. Actually, you had trance the whole time, so you definitely alright. So one thing you'll notice that, and this is maybe it's a bad thing to say, but when you have 300 armor, and not only do you have 300 armor, you have Transcendence, you can play far further up and far more aggressively, not only because you're tankier, but if really you can be far more aggressive because your team can continue their tempo very easily because you have trance. So when your team is committing and maybe you guys are low, you can just hit the Q button and your team is all ready to go in even harder than they were before and clean up the kills. So right now you're playing really, really passively for what you have, which is full armor and trance. So playing really passively right now is cutting your tempo. So you're playing really far back. Oh, and I suppose another good point is that if you play really aggressively with your team and you have Transcendence, you don't have to waste time traveling from here all the way there with your Transcendence. So you should start playing really far more aggressively when you have armor and Transcendence. So so yeah. Good that you didn't use your trance after your main tank was dead though. Oh, that's a tragedy. So in general, I'm not 100% sure on the statistics, but dive goats is used on is of course map specific, and this map is actually okay to run dive goats, but just as a kind of warning, dive goats does a lot less damage than Rhine goats, and the reason is because of armor and the relation it has with Winston's gun and Reinhardt's hammer. So Reinhardt doesn't really care about armor because it just reduces his damage by a flat 5, so he does 75 per swing, so he'll do 70 per swing, so that's not really that much of a reduction. But Winston's Tesla cannon is literally cut by half from what, 60 damage per second to only 30 damage per second, so or something like that. So it's really low in comparison. So yeah, that's just the reason. That's the reason why Winston Ghost does a lot less damage. Charging up right click, very nice. Discord something. So your team is kind of AFKing up here for a little bit too long, and this is kind of bad because you have full armor. Your team has full. Some of your team have, you know, a lot of armor. Wait, is this armor from last fight? No, it's not. I'm just kidding. Only you have armor. But basically you guys have trance, and you guys should be looking to commit with trance, especially since you've held it for the past 2 fights. And in that time, you definitely could have charged 1, maybe even 2. So I would trance right about now in response to their trance. So you don't trance at all. For some reason. Oh, oof. Alright, this is not gonna go well. So in about in all this time, you haven't managed to use trance in the past 2 minutes or so, and actually longer. Did you have trance the entire time? Actually, when did you first get trance? Was it at the 2-minute mark? Alright, for whatever reason. Alright, so you get trance at about the 2-minute mark, and you've held it for that long. So you don't have to be so conservative. With trance should be used for tempo, and actually for that matter, so should so should lose your beat. Support ults aren't really used to save people from anything in... Basically, they shouldn't be used in response to ultimates such as Grav and Bomb. I mean, you can use them, you know. It's not it's not always, it's not ideal. The ideal way is to use it to keep up the tempo of your push. So if you're pushing and you don't want to back out, you don't want to stop the momentum, so you trance, you go in even harder, and you should be able to win off of that if they don't have trance, of course. And that's why trancing second is so important, because the tempo is in your favor if you trance second. So let me just go back because you guys lose. Alright, so we were about here. Yep, so you've been holding trance for a really long time. Running up train. Alright. Keep going, come on team, let's go. Alright, so actually I like this trance. The reason is because you see, actually I'm not sure if you realize this, they did this on purpose, but they were kind of camping this doorway, and you kind of need to use some sort of tempo ultimate, some sort of ultimate to push through, and using trance is actually one of the best ways to do that. You will be doing that with beat or trance, to be honest. It needs to be kind of one of those things. But even with trance you die. Oh, I see. He charged kind of the wrong way. So that was a mechanical mistake on your end. So right now your healing orb is not out. So that's a mechanical mistake for a bit. Yep, there we go. Okay. You get held on the first point. That is, whoever said that is not exactly true. Not exactly true. I have no idea why Moira goats would be better against McCree goats. The only difference is that it's easier to run and you don't have as much damage. So you guys kind of will survive a little bit longer, but you guys can't close out the fight nearly as quickly, which is why Zen Goats is just superior to Moira Goats, because Zen Goats operates faster than Moira Goats. Because you play to kill, you play to finish the fight faster. So of course if the fight lasts, 20 seconds with no one dying, it's still in the favor of Zen Goats, because the Moira would have run out of healing. So so for sure Zen Goats is more meta, just because it closes out fights. It actually secures kills. And when you secure one kill, you pretty much secure the entire fight. Especially when it's goats versus goats, where all the pieces are irreplaceable, right? Like, no one can really pick up the slack of the Ryan, no one can pick up the slack of the Brick, no one can pick up the slack of the Zen. Alright, so Scrim, for the Scrim, you guys reset the map. Let's play Moira now. I guess I'm talking about Moira now. I suspect it'll be a lot of why Zen would have been better. Alright, so presumably because they do have Zen, they flash your they and I'll tell you why the Zen is so good. Do they even flash it? Whatever the case is, they discord your Rhine, and they instantly kill him because he's discorded. That's pretty much the story for Zen Goats and why it's so good. Oof. So it's not always possible to focus the McCree down just because the McCree has range. But whatever they're replacing, it does mean that most likely the Diva does mean that they have oh, do I get to see the team comp? Hang on. I want to see the exact team comp. Can I pause it exactly right now? Right now. Perfect. So let's see. They replaced the Diva with McCree, as I thought. And this does mean they have a lot more damage, but your Diva should try to be mitigating the damage from the McCree as you guys rush into the Reinhardt. And you guys can't do that as quickly because you guys have a Moira instead of a Zen. And Matrix, Diva's Matrix is only 2 seconds. So this means that your time to kill is just that much longer. And you know, this would just mean the difference between a lost fight and a won fight, whether you can secure the kill within your Diva's Matrix, occupying the McCree. So a lot of team-oriented advice, but alright, that actually shouldn't happen. I'm not. Wow, my goodness. Oof. Alright, that is extremely questionable. Alright, you somehow managed to kill people off of that graph because they kind of split up and they weren't really together. So I guess I'll go back and mention why. After this kill, no one is dead. So 2 people get grabbed. 3. Now they're choked in. And they have to back out. But they can't because some people have to push the cart. So you guys take a 6v, however many that was trapped inside the room, and you guys win the fight. So that was more of their mistake rather than your good play. And just saying, I'll repeat again, Moira had nothing to do with why you guys won that fight. Alright, skip a little bit to when the next fight begins. Alright, you guys should definitely be playing on the same place right now. Alright, your Diva should be dead in about 1 second. Oh, never mind. The enemy kind of didn't chase after the Diva because your Diva just used booster and was on the low ground, so a good team would have kind of collapsed on that and noticed that mistake. So they are fixating on your Rhine. Alright, yeah. Their time to kill is just so much lower than yours, just because they have Zen. Exactly, a flash discorded Ryan and you fan the hammer on discorded Ryan, it pretty much evaporates the Reinhardt, which is why the D.Va has to expend so much attention on the McCree's flashbang and fan the hammer. Alright, your team arguing about wording in the middle of a scrim. Very not good. So here's High Noon again. So let's see what exactly went wrong with this fight. We actually engaged with Rally. Ooh. So you guys shattered in. You guys didn't really have a plan of what ults to use before the fight, and I did mention this before, but I guess I'll mention it now because you guys now use Shatter and Grav, kind of at the same time, and the Shatter kind of wasn't set up by, let's say, a Brick Bash or anything. I mean, I know right now on live servers, Brick Bash doesn't go through Ryan Shield, but yeah, for sure, the play needs to be set. And for example, you can have your Lucio boot the Ryan in a different direction to, so you can land the Shatter on their backline. So one thing your Ryan has to be careful of is definitely assume that most Ryans can react to and block the Shatter. There's kind of few cases in which a Reinhardt will, especially in professional play, high level play in contenders, that the Reinhardt just can't do that. There's usually the case is the reason a team gets shattered is because the Shatter was really well set up, rather than the Ryan is so good and he just straight up outplayed the other Ryan. So it's usually based on setup. You guys don't want a McCree, you guys want a Zen! Come on! Anyway, now you guys have McCree as well, so I argue now that your team comp is actually worse, just because now your D.Va cannot occupy the McCree while you guys play. Is your Lucius on speed, right? Yeah, he is. So for your Lucius benefit, next time whenever the other support is using the ult, so whether it's Zen or Moira, the Lucio should be using speed amp with the ultimate. So whether you're trancing or whether you're using coalescence, you use speed amp. So that's why it's benefit. Alright, so anyway, back to this. What happens? The bubble. Was that a bubble used on your Ryan? No, only now. Okay. Okay, in my opinion, the bubble was kind of bad. It was kind of early because it wasn't in response to their commitment. So they used bubble already on their Ryan, right? And right now, what I would like to see is for you to use bubble and just freaking hard commit into them and just don't fear. Because now they don't have the team, the projected bubble for their Reinhardt, and you can just go in on him with your own bubble. There should be no way that he lives. I emphasize on should, but you guys again don't have a Zen. So who knows what would have happened. Okay, they pushed you off. So now the advantage of your bubble is gone because you guys didn't just hard commit with the bubble. So now they use bubble back and they push into you guys, I believe. So Wait, is this your bubble? Is this your team getting bubbled? Yep. Your Ryan gets bubbled to back out. So that's not really what you want. You definitely want to use bubble in either in response to their aggression so you can go aggressive, or you use bubble to just go aggressive first. And in high level play, bubble usage generally means commitment. So it's either, so sometimes you go and see and you can see in So Dynasty versus Guangzhou Charge maybe it'll be uploaded on YouTube, but there was like a period of like 10 or 20 seconds that neither Zaya used bubble, because they know that the second that they use it first, the other team is going to bubble their Rhine and just hard commit into yours. Yes, we have arrived. We have arrived at Zen Goats. I am very happy. So, now let's talk about Zen again. You should pretty much be leaving your healing orb on your Reinhardt at all times, pretty much, and you should never go on nearly anyone else. Alright, maybe I wouldn't go by this way. I'll be scared of the McCree. Oof, that's a very brave break. How does he live for so long? Alright, anyway, it's time to go. Good kill. Alright, keep spamming. You can pretty much just hold down the mouse button and shoot at the beefy bodies. You want to charge your ult as fast as possible. In my opinion, Trance is the most impactful ult within Goats, just because it enables so much tempo. You can either swing the fight in your direction with Trance, or of course you can engage it and continue the tempo. Ooh, that was close. Well done. Oh, that was actually good discipline to not use Trance. That was good. Leave the healing ball on your Ryan at all times. Like right now, you could definitely use it. There we go. Actually, just mentioned, could you guys have Trance that? Was that an option? Because I thought you guys had one actually. Now that I see you guys lose, because you guys killed him. Ah, right about there. Okay, I see. Yeah, for sure you didn't use Trance. Oh, and your McCree kind of splits up. Alright. You guys shouldn't have needed to use Trance, but I guess you guys needed to use Trance there, technically speaking. Oh, alright. So, this was it needed? I don't think it was. We used bubble. Yeah, your Ryan had just arrived behind cover. Your Ryan had just arrived behind this cover, so he was kind of completely safe from damage. So this Trance not good. But your team is grouped up, so yeah, Trance is over. You scored him, very nice. You should instantly die. Oh, never mind. So again, leave your healing ball. For how long was your healing ball not on your Ryan? Using Trance. Alright, very nice. Still on him. Oh, it wasn't off of him for that long. Okay. This is not too bad. I'll look to reapply it. There we go. Okay, that wasn't so bad actually. Alright, there should be kind of no way you win. Just because when Goats wins on the last fight, they can kind of camp your spawn doors, and unless you guys group together in spawn and then approach the point, it's usually not the case that you guys are gonna win the fight, or even take a 50-50, because of course it's their advantage, because you guys have to push up through a narrow spawn door. So Overall, for your play, for your team first, I'd suggest that you guys settle on running either goats or dotes, which is like dive goats or just a standard Ryan goat. So the only person who should be flexing is this guy, and he's just flexing to another main tank. It's either Winston or Ryan. There's only two things he's gonna play. The others of your team, you guys are definitely going to play Zen goats. You guys are definitely going to play Brick, definitely Lucia, of course, but you definitely want a Zarya because of the damage that she provides. And this last one, the Diva can, and I suggest that you either stick your Diva on Diva if that's his most comfortable hero and you want to just practice it really, really well. But you guys should definitely settle on one variation of goats that you guys will go to when you guys want to run goats. And by one variation, I mean these 5 should be the same thing, and only this guy changes from Ryan or Winston. So only main tank flexes. Everyone else will stay the same, and you guys will just practice that version of goats. So right now you guys are trying about like 5 different versions of goats, just with with Hammond, without Hammond, with Zarya, without Zarya, and it's getting in the way of really good practice. So overall, I suggest this is where you start, and of course the standard goats things apply. If I get a hold of your Zarya's point of view, I like to see it, because I think your Zarya uses bubbles a little bit too early in general. Sometimes you have to basically start by realizing that bubbles means commitment, and if they're using bubbles to aggress on you and you use bubble second, it's go time, and you guys can clap them easy peasy with good target focus, because you guys have the tempo with the bubbles. And if of course it doesn't work out and you guys are still alive, you basically return back to staring at each other through your shield. Plus Graph is really very high impact ult compared to Diva Bomb, and if you guys run a Diva instead of whatever this is, actually you know what, let me write out Zen Diva. I'll just write down that this guy is Diva. Zarya, Lucio, Break, Winston or Ryan. There you go. I'll write it down like this. Ryan. So this wow, my handwriting is horrible on writing with a mouse, so this should be a team comp just all the time. So this is what happens if you want to practice, but if you want to experiment with 4 DPS, that's fine. So I hope you learn something. I mentioned like a couple of things for your team, not that much though. I pretty much just went on and on about how you guys should be playing Zen instead of Moira, but don't hold your trance for this long. Definitely leave your healing ball on your Ryan more often than not. If you have to use it on anyone else, it's okay obviously, but you want to leave it on your Ryan primarily. And in terms of Discord, just hand them out and call who you're discording. So actually, in terms of your discords are pretty okay. It's your healing ball and your trance that you have problems with, and of course your aggression when you have armor and trance. So when you have trance, not necessarily armor, if you just have trance, play aggressively with your team, because you want to use trance soon for the tempo, and you can start charging your next trance really, really early, so you can have 2 trances in the time. Maybe right now you use only 1. So that's pretty much it for your Zen. I won't mention much about your Moira, just because you are never going to be playing Moira ever again. At least not until Moira is a very meta character. So anyway, I hope you learned something. I wish I could have said more, but this is what it is.